Most people don't, because I was on hydrocodone for 2 months.
No, I know, but you said you just
Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 months, and I was fine.
we only did it for 2 years.
Yeah, this is my mom.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, I met her at the party. She was so much fun. Oh, yeah.
So glad you came.
Yeah, happy to be here.
It's nice to see some young people.
Yeah, we've got, during the offertory, we've got a video on there.
Okay, they're Saturday. So the morning.
And, I played back the video before, just sitting here and listening to it. It played back for it. So if we get to that point where the video runs and it's static, I don't know what that tells us, but I tried it before and it was fine.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. I am Molly Brinkerhoff, today's worship associate. Welcome to you, old friends and hopefully new friends, young and old. Welcome to those in the sanctuary and welcome to those who are watching us virtually. We have about 6 people watching us virtually, so that's kind of fun. You are an essential part of our gathering today. Whether today is your first time or your 1,000th Sunday in our midst, we are stronger because you are with us. We are one people of many beliefs, many origins, sexualities, and genders. We are all growing and all learning, all loved, just as you are. You are welcome here. So before we get started, we do have a few announcements. Please silence your cell phones. I'm one of the worst ones, so that's why I tell everybody to do that. And make sure the sound is down just in case it doesn't go off, which I just discovered. I kept hearing this noise going, what is that? And it was my phone. You guys. So if you're watching us virtually and you are able, please sign in on the chat box if you haven't already done that, and that lets us know who is joining us. And I am sorry, but we will not be having joys, sorrows, and concerns today due to the pageant, but we will have a blessing piece which will be included. And we will not be showing the pageant virtually, I'm sorry to those who are watching, just for the safety concerns and the confidentiality for the children that are here in the sanctuary. Are you interested in, if you're not already a member, a UUCIF member, if you're interested, please contact Reverend Kevin. He's planning to do a class in the first of the year. Also, Blue Christmas Vesper service, which was supposed to be last week, is now going to be this Wednesday, beginning at 7 p.m. This will be a quiet service of music and readings for those who are mourning a loss or otherwise feeling sorrowful this holiday season when so many around us are experiencing joy. And also, we will be having a Christmas Eve service. It does start at 5 p.m., 5:30 p.m. on Christmas Eve. So be aware, because I think at one point it was posted as at 7, but it's going to be at 5:30 p.m. So we will now move into the sacred time of worship. Breath Cloud by Han Kang. On cold mornings, that first white cloud of escaping breath is proof that we are living, proof of our body's warmth. Cold air rushes into dark lungs, soaks up the heat of our body, and is expelled as perceptible form, white flecked with gray. Our lives, a miraculous diffusion out into the empty air. So think of this breath cloud as I ring the peace bowl 3 times. We will begin our service with our prelude. Our covenant, along with our 7 Unitarian Universalist principles, is our guide to how our congregation will relate to each other and the world. As I read our church covenant for us all, please recite it with me. Love is the spirit of this community, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. We will now be lighting our chalice, and if you have a candle or chalice available at home, please light yours with us. It is the season of lights. Each holiday light lifts up our spirit and brings out the childlike wonder hiding in each of our hearts. The cold doesn't matter when the enchantment of the lights heats up our souls. Let our UU chalice flame also lift up our spirits, touch our hearts, and heat up our souls.
Good morning. And a cold one it is this morning. Our call to worship this morning is the poem Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. I invite you now to rise in body or spirit and join in singing our opening hymn, number 235, Deck the Hall with Boughs of Holly. Were it not for the light of the sun, life on earth as we know it would not exist. We have known this intuitively for a very long time, perhaps hundreds of thousands of years. And by we, I mean the long lineage of human ancestors stretching back to whoever those first hominins were who gazed at the sun, moon, and stars in awe and wonder. Light and heat from the sun bathe our planet to keep it habitable for the diversity of life all around us, at a perfect temperature range for liquid water to exist to sustain the processes of life. Light from the sun enables photosynthesis to occur to nourish plants, the essential source of all the food we consume and the oxygen we breathe. I suspect it was very early in human evolution when we realized our essential relationship with the sun and began to note the cycle of the seasons. And in the northern hemisphere, as our ancestors migrated farther away from the equator, the difference in the seasons became more pronounced, and it was important to observe the changing seasons and prepare for the coming of winter each year. It is easy to imagine that the natural solar holidays of the winter and summer solstice and the fall and spring equinox were some of the first holy days human beings observed. And this tradition has continued to this day in various forms throughout the world. Ancient sites such as Göbekli Tepe in Turkey and Stonehenge in England provide evidence that religious ceremonies to celebrate the winter solstice and other important holy days were being observed as a regular event for thousands of years. Over time, as the great religious traditions emerged around the world, the stories and symbols of the holidays became more complex with the richness of the human imagination. But a fundamental emphasis on light remains a part of so many holidays in this winter season when the nights are longer. Ritual fires and candlelight touch something deeply spiritual in our psyches. Even in ordinary times, staring into the flames of a campfire or a fireplace, even observing the flame of a single candle can be mesmerizing. But when we use fire as part of a religious ritual, it becomes even more special somehow. It is why we light our chalice each week in the worship service and light candles to express our joys and concerns. The flame is not only a source of light, but a symbol of transformation. Human beings simply love to express our spiritual feelings with light, and this is especially true during this winter holiday season. And ever since we harnessed the power of electricity, we added decorative lights to our trees and in multicolored displays that are sometimes quite spectacular. Some people still light candles on their trees. But these days it is rare to see a Christmas tree that is not adorned with electric lights. Lately in America, in our ongoing cultural wars, some people take offense when they hear Happy Holidays instead of Merry Christmas, as if this is somehow an attack on some sacred tradition. This ignores the fact that we are a nation of many different beliefs, and among the world's religions, there are dozens of holidays at this time of year, though the dates they observe sometimes vary on the lunar calendar. In addition to all sorts of celebrations of the winter solstice, there's Hanukkah, Diwali, Kwanzaa, Eid al-Adha, and Las Posadas, just to name a few. Some Unitarian Universalists even celebrate Chalaka, but that tradition has been slow to gain traction. Saying Happy Holidays is more inclusive, to say the least. This is a time when people of many faiths gather for festive meals with family and friends, and the ritual lighting of candles or lamps is often an important element. Hanukkah, for example, is an 8-day Jewish holiday that begins on the 25th day of Kislev on the Jewish calendar, which this year occurs this evening. It celebrates the rededication of the temple in Jerusalem after the successful Maccabean revolt against the Seleucid Empire in 167 BCE, around 2,000 years ago. As part of the celebration, each night of the holiday, Jewish families light candles in menorahs, which are special 9-candle holders. Another example is Diwali, also known as the Festival of Lights, which is a 5-day Hindu holiday, also celebrated on different dates depending on the lunar calendar. This year it began early on October 24th. It celebrates the triumph of good over evil, and is one of the main rituals. They light lots of small clay lamps. The name Diwali even means row of lamps. Many contemporary Hindus, especially those living in America and in other Western nations, have also adopted decorating their homes at this time with electric Christmas lights. So you'll often see, multicolored lights on their homes in late October. In our service today with our pageant, we are primarily celebrating the winter solstice. This year, the exact time of the solstice in Idaho will be Wednesday, December 21st at 2:48 p.m. That is the moment in the Earth's annual trip around the sun when we will be at the maximum tilt away from the sun in the northern hemisphere. It is the shortest day and longest night of the year. Though we have already experienced cold, wintry weather for several weeks, this will mark the official beginning of astronomical winter. Like the ancient peoples of northern Europe did long before most of the world's religions even existed, we celebrate by bringing evergreen trees and holly into our homes and churches in this Yuletide season to remind us that life goes on even in the dead of winter, and that spring will return. It marks the end of the old year and the beginning of the new. These days, the greenery is often artificial, but the symbolic meaning remains. Maybe you will light more candles or lamps too, or even burn a Yule log in the fireplace, as Marty and I have done in past years. A nice large piece of oak will usually suffice to burn through the night, though in some Scandinavian traditions, an enormous Yule log would be chosen to burn for 12 days. This is also time to celebrate our connection to nature. Winter may be cold, but it is also a beautiful season with its own delights. Gathering outside around bonfires has long been a Yuletide ritual. When we lived in New England, I always enjoyed going to Old Sturbridge Village for special winter holiday evenings and drinking hot cider around a bonfire. Bundled up in the cold night air, I was reminded of the quote from Melville in Moby Dick that, "To enjoy bodily warmth, some small part of you must be cold." So friends, I hope you will celebrate this season of lights in whatever way brings you joy. Let us give thanks for the sun for its radiance, and to the earth for its sustenance. After the offering this morning, we will be in our pageant. I hope you enjoy the short music video to help set the mood as we collect our offering. So an offering to support the mission of this church will now be given and gratefully received.
Natten går tunga fjät runt gård och stuva kring jord som soln förlät skuggorna ruva drömmar med vingesus under oss sia tänd dina vita ljus Sankta Lucia. Trollsejd och mörkermakt ljusstupet vingar signade lågors vakt skydd åt oss bringar drömmar med vingesus som leda oss vägen att finna. Bli dina klara blås, fagra prästinna. Drömmar med vingesus under Hosea. Tänd dina vita ljus, Sankta Lucia.